Hey everyone, it's Lance with Christianity Minute. Last time, Jesus had just made the Pharisees really angry by calling out their hypocrisy in the synagogue and healed a man on the Sabbath. If you missed that video, be sure to check it out here. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any other videos in our study. While Jesus isn't making any friends with the aristocracy, that is, the priests, he is amassing a large number of followers. It's time for Jesus to pick his 12 apostles. We'll see that in this week's passage leading up to his first major sermon that's recorded in Luke. Luke chapter 6, verses 12 through 19. In these days he went out to the mountain to pray, and all night he continued in prayer to God. And when day came, he called his disciples and chose from them 12, whom he named apostles. Simon, whose name Peter, and Andrew his brother, and James and John and Philip and Bartholomew, and Matthew and Thomas and James the son of Alphaeus, and Simon, who was called the Zealot, and Judas, the son of James, and Judas Iscariot, who became the traitor. And he came down with them and stood on a level place, with a great crowd of his disciples and a great multitude of people from all Judea and Jerusalem, and the seacoast of Tyre and Sidon, and came to hear him, and to be healed of their diseases. And those who were troubled with unclean spirits were cured. And all the crowd sought to touch him, for power came out from him and healed them all. Okay, certainly these verses in the context of our study are transitional, getting ready for his big sermon starting in verse 20. But that doesn't make them any less important. Jesus has amassed a large number of disciples now. Some were handpicked, and some would have followed Jesus just because of the wonders that he could do. Certainly a different time for sure. I mean, who could do that in today's modern lifestyle? Just file that away as one of the many reasons why Jesus came when he did. It was time for Jesus to form the apostles, this select group of 12 who would be his core compatriots and would be the ones to spread his message later on. Hence the name apostle, or one sent. Why 12 apostles? Well, what's the significance of the number 12 in Scripture? Well, we see the number 12 is a numeric symbol of the faithful. Or think of it as the people of God. I think the biggest parallel is with the 12 tribes of Israel being the people of God. And now you have the beginnings of the church, which would be in these 12 apostles. But wait, you may say, there were actually 13 tribes. Joseph had a double portion. So you had the half tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh. So how's that parallel? See, that last name on the list of apostles, the one who's always last, you see that? Judas Iscariot? He hung himself after Jesus' death. Yes, I know there's some confusion on that, and we'll get into that later in our study. But for now, for the church to start, there's only 11 apostles? No. All right, Acts chapter 1, verse 26 tells us that Matthias was chosen to take Judas's place. So there were 12 apostles, but there were actually 13. It shows that God's people can still grow. The number is representative of the people of God, but that they are ever growing and cannot be diminished. The discussion also tells us something else. I'm not sure when Matthias or Justus, remember the other guy considered for Judas's treasurer spot, when he actually started following Jesus. Are they there right now? How many were there for Jesus to pick from? Jesus seems to have had his pick for sure. And what a decision it was. I mean, Jesus prayed all night long about it the night before. When was the last time that you or I did that before an important decision in our lives? We've actually seen Jesus put spiritual needs above the physical, like sleep, already before his temptation, which was also a major event. All right, so he has his 12 disciples, and the organization is born. He then goes out, heals people as usual, to prove who he is and to show that there is approval of his actions from God. Like picking these men over all the people who were there. All right, so he has his 12 apostles, and the organization is born. He then goes out and heals people as usual to prove who he is and to show that there is approval for his actions from God. Actions like the picking of these men amongst all the people who are there. Verse 19 even tells us that the power came out from him to heal all who had come and needed healing. Now, this may have been some sort of mass healing event. I'm not sure. The wording makes it kind of seem that way. It's certainly a stamp of approval from God, which all can marvel. So here's Jesus in front of all these people, all of which have been healed who needed it. Here's the 12 apostles all around him. He's certainly looking the part legitimately now with the crowds and the entourage. So what does he have to say to these devoted followers now? Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the next episode. Drop a like if you like this video and feel free to share any part of this video. And if you'd like to donate, there are links in the description. If you'd like to keep learning more, check out some of my other videos on your screen, and I'll see you next time right here on Christianity Minute.